What's good, all you in the Who Dat Nation? It is the one and only Who Dat Davis here for you. If you don't know, you will know that over here we bleed black and gold until we are dead and cold. Thank y'all for checking out today's video about the up and coming official start of teams being able to franchise designate respective franchise players. Now, before we get into what we need to get into for a little bit, it's only going to be about less than a 10-minute video. But before we get into all that, I'm gonna make sure I give a shout out to everybody that checks out my content on a regular basis. You know, Big Country. I recently went over to his podcast and chatted him up a little bit. You know, big shout outs to him and the love that he gives me and my channel. So I'm giving you your respective due for your love and your channel. You know what I'm saying? So big shout out to Jerry Poor. Shouts out to Candace, you know what I'm saying, Tara, all you people out there that check out my content whenever it goes up. Big love for y'all, you know what I mean? So with that being said, let's get into what we need to get into. Tomorrow, Tuesday, NFL teams can officially start designating franchise players with a franchise tag, which means the Saints have a lot of decisions to make. Who do they see as franchise players that deserve the franchise tag? I got a list right here that I believe that they should go down the list to consider from number 1 to number 5. Let's get into number 1, and that is Marcus Williams. Marcus Williams is a top 10 safety. He was rated the best tackling safety in all of the NFL. That is better than who? Everybody. That includes Buda Baker and Jamal Adams, who had the most pressures coming off the edge in the 2020 season. Now, assuming they can't get a deal done with Marcus Williams this season and they can't extend him, they can hit him with that franchise tag to keep him around, because you don't want that guy to go. You really don't. Look, we all wanted to criticize Marcus Williams since that 2020, not 2020, the 2017 postseason against the Minnesota Vikings when he missed that tackle. But guess what? Guess how many tackles he's missed this 2020 season? Guess how many? 2. Marcus Williams only missed 2 tackles. He was one of the top tackling defenders on the Saints defensive side this season. Top 5. I believe he was rated number 3, just under Malcolm Jenkins and Demario Davis. Okay, that's huge. That's absolutely huge. Especially, and those guys are hard to come by. You know, those are really, really rare finds, and they got themselves a good one. Especially when it understands the system of what Dennis Allen wants to do. So with that said, if push comes to shove, just slap that franchise tag, that designation on Marcus Williams. All right, you need to make sure they maintain him. You can't extend him. Now, number 2 on this list, Quan Alexander, linebacker Quan Alexander. Now, if Quan Alexander doesn't take a restructure of his contract, then it's possible they could give him a franchise tag, assuming they cut him first. If they cut him, then they could put him on, I don't know, maybe a franchise tag. I don't know how that process would go. You would have to, inform me in the comment section how that situation with Quan Alexander would go, because I'm not the smartest guy in the world. I'm a little ignorant, so I'll take whatever information that y'all can give me on that. But Quan Alexander is someone they have to keep. He has stated, if you haven't checked out his Twitter or my Facebook page, that Quan Alexander wants to stay with the Saints. He wants to ride with the Saints this 2021 season. So that could lead into him getting a restructure in his contract. Later with more incentives, stuff like that, since he's not on the lease for any guaranteed money. But yeah, Quan Alexander is my number 2. My number 3, I would have to say Ryan Ramczyk. We've talked so much about defensive backs and safeties being hard to find. A good offensive tackle is even harder to find. And they got a really, really good one in Ryan Ramczyk, shoring up that right side, going up against the likes of Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa, Shaquille Barrett, Roquan Smith, guys of that nature. He's even went up against Preston Smith of Green Bay. Those guys, Ryan Ramczyk held his own He's good in the screen game. He's good in the run block game. He's your all-purpose, all-dutiful right tackle. They have to maintain control of Ryan Ramczyk if he doesn't go for that fifth-year option. He has to go for that fifth-year option. Otherwise, franchise tag. You can't get anything else done. You can't. You have to make sure your offensive line remains the same for your potential Jameis Winston, up and coming guy. You know what I mean? So with that said, those are number 3. My number 4, I would have to say Justin Hardy. Look, Justin Hardy is a guy who actually takes pride in what he does on special teams, and you don't find that. You don't find that very often in any guys on special teams. They see it as more of a downgrade in terms of they start as playing on defense, but they come into the pro league and they get put on special teams. Justin Hardy takes pride in what he does on special teams. He's a captain for a reason. Justin Hardy is a key player in terms of flipping the field for the Saints, whether it be blocking in the return or blocking during or going downfield and not blocking, making sure tackles or they pin them deep. You know what I'm saying? Excuse my language. I just woke up a little while ago, so I'm a little over the place. I'll try to keep this as straightforward as I can. But yeah, Justin Hardy, he's due to be a free agent. He deserves a franchise. He deserves to be designated as a franchise player for many different reasons. When it comes to special teams, you have to make sure you maintain Justin Hardy as much as possible. Craig Robertson might be out the door, given he's also a free agent this season, and he's already up there in age. You've got a young linebacker in Zach Bond who's faster, he's smarter. He can take the place of Craig Robertson if need be. He's also been used in base 4-3 on defensive schemes for this 2020 season. He's shown that he can get out there. You know what I mean? So shouts out to Zach Bond. I do believe he's got what it takes to be, Craig Robertson's replacement on special teams. So so I put a lot of my stock in, franchise tagging Craig Robertson. So that's number 4. Number 5, it would definitely have to be Marshon Lattimore. That's number 5. Marshon Lattimore. Now, people are probably going to ask me, why is Marshon Lattimore number 5 on this list and not somewhere in the top 3? Well, let's look back at who we listed and why they're a little more important than Marshon Lattimore. Number 1 is Marcus Williams. Number 2 is Quan Alexander. Number 3 is I forgot already. But you can go back into this and you can go back into this video. You know what I mean? But yeah. About Marshon Lattimore, like I said, forgive me. I just woke up. I'm still processing information. So I just want to get this video out there to you guys to make sure, hey, I'm still alive. I'm still making content. But back on topic real quick about Marshon Lattimore. He's still a big part of what they do defensively for the Saints. He's their number 1 corner. But the reason why he's number 5 is because he still has a chance for that 5th-year option. Just like Ryan Ramczyk, that's why he's listed as number 4. Those 2 guys have a 5th-year option in their contract. So I don't believe that they're going to hit free agency. I think they're going to stay with the Saints for that 5th year, just like Sheldon Rankins did before he's most likely going to leave. He's already alluded to that he's going to be testing the waters of the free agent market to see what's there. So yeah, it's because of those guys like Ramczyk and Lattimore having 5th-year options in their contract that they're lower tier on my top 5 list. But if push comes to shove and nothing else opens up in terms of what they want to do with Marshon Lattimore in terms of extension, or if they've already gotten their other 4 guys that's on my list taken care of, then you can look at Marshon Lattimore getting hit with a franchise tag or franchise designation, however you guys want to call it. But that's it. That's all for right now. I apologize in advance for this video looking a little sluggish, a little rubbish. I'll definitely be a little more upkeep going forward. I had to go and get a late breakfast started, get the day started, do something with my hair. all that good stuff. But for right now, we always bleed black and gold until we dead and cold. I will holler at y'all later. Deuces.